award wat hy gekry het volgens julle punte. Okay, so dit is...
Dit is die eerste een, hè?
Ja, Iris on Fire is 'n goud vir daarin.
Okay. Okay, ek gaan maar in Engels aangaan, anders dan gaan ek
Please, do that,
rondpraat. Okay.
That's fine, no
So
problem.
yeah, nice bunch of triangles created here. The purples and the yellows work well. You've got that dark background that really offsets everything. The splash of yellows just bring an interesting dimension to the actual image. Yeah, it's almost an abstraction of the flowers. Very nicely done.
Thank you. Spitfire is 'n goud vir Ingrid.
Yeah, very good composition, placing the vehicle on a diagonal. And just a hint of a reflection in there, which adds a little interest to the overall image. The monochrome conversion is very good. We have from very light to very dark shades of monochrome. So a good conversion then, and nice and sharp from corner to corner. Well done.
Thank you. Eie verkoper in Istanbul, goud vir Sari.
Yeah, nice environmental portrait here. An old man here, wizened, interesting stories to tell, I'm sure. And what really makes the image is the fact that the onions are falling out of his hand into this pot of water. Very monochrome in terms of the feel, offset nicely with that red hat. Yeah, nicely done. This might also make a very good monochrome image. Thank you.
Thank you. Loss of Innocence, 'n silwer vir Didrey.
No, I think the square format is necessary for this image. You have lovely detail in the petals. The water droplets are nice. Maybe the red splatters are too much. I don't know if we needed that many. It's a tiny little bit distracting because you have the reds and white water drops, or the shades are nicely adding to the depth of this image, but I think what is pulling this down a little is all these red blobs.
Okay. Pearl Spotted Owl, Owlet, 'n goud vir Marinda.
Okay, nicely positioned on the branch. The eyes are nice, clear and sharp. The background is a little bright, and you've got that unnecessary twig or branch sort of thing going off just to the right of the owl as we look at it. It's an open category. I think you could remove that quite comfortably and improve the image. But as presented, yeah, nicely done. It's sharp, it's in focus. The exposure on the bird is not bad. It's just your background that's a little bit brighter.
Thank you. Artist at Work is 'n goud vir Renate.
Yeah, this is a very interesting rendition of somebody else's art. I like the inclusion and the symmetry of the windows on the sides and the two lampposts and a few windows at the bottom. I just wonder if we needed to see all of this, because your title says it's an artist at work, but the artist is so small in the overall image that we can barely see him. So maybe if you cropped off slightly on the right and give us just one row of windows with the artist then a slight bit bigger in the overall image, it may improve the title. But the overall effect is nice. It's nice and sharp and well exposed.
Okay. Stefan, is 'n goud vir Pieter.
Yeah, nice moody portrait here. Nice lighting just under the eyes. The fall off to the back of the head is very subtle. It doesn't fade into black. The inclusion of the smoke as well, the exposure on the hat, and the eyes that are slightly in shadow. This is a really good portrait. Well done, Peter.
Okay. The Maiden of Embervale, Marita Felicia.
Yeah, I think the story that you're trying to tell us here came through. The girl looks a bit uncomfortable, and her hands also tells the story of not feeling very happy, very bright. The background is very complimentary. I just wonder if the eyes looking up so much that you can see the whites under the color it doesn't look very natural, and it's not how we usually do it. So just think about that next time you do a portrait like this, having a look up but not that high up.
Okay. Shanae, is 'n goud vir Andre.
Okay. Yeah, nice high-key approach to the face. Very pretty model. Great contact with the eye. Background, there's a bit of a vignette on there, which I think darkens off the upper corners very nicely. Exposure's been well handled. Your monochrome conversion has worked well. Yeah, nicely done.
Thank you. Oorleef net, goud vir Elia.
Interesting story that you're telling us here, and a very good model for suffering. But your background is very bright and distracting, with all the harsh shadows and the overexposed parts, especially where we are supposed to see his eyes, and they're completely hidden in the shade of his hat. So just maybe think about that going forward.
Thank you. Flying in the Sunset, is 'n goud vir Marika.
Nice symmetry. Everything's nicely aligned in threes. You've got nice motion in the propellers. My only comment on this is that the hill that they're flying over is very dominant in this particular image. You don't need everything on the left-hand side. It is there, it is what it is, but just bear that in mind should the opportunity present itself again. Thank you.
Thank you. Pragtige dag op Barkley Oos op die plaas, 'n goud vir Karen.
The light in this image is beautiful. The panorama format really works well for this image. The crop is very well handled, and those trees being so gold, just your eye keeps running back to it, and then you have this tractor, which is supposedly your center of interest, mimicking the colors in the trees. This is really a well-seen image and well taken.
Okay. A mother's love is the ultimate comfort, goud vir Irene.
Yeah, one of those shame moments. Very moody, a lot of mist in the image. And the interaction between the calf and the cow, I think has been very well handled. The back legs of the elephant look like they've been, or it looks like the elephant has been sort of deep etched and put in. I don't think that is the case. But nonetheless, it does sort of give that illusion from there. The image is really about the mother and the calf, and I think from that point of view, you've captured it nicely.
Thank you. Bird watching of Oma is a goud for myself.
Lovely light on the little dog's face, nice eye contact with your model, and the background is there, but if you could just get rid of this right red part, I think it would already improve the image. Because it's so bright and so colorful on the edge of the image right behind the dog's ear, our eye keeps going there to see what it is. If you can just tone it down a little bit, our eye will stay on this beautiful little doggy's face.
Dankie, Kitty. Leading to the beach is a goud for Trevor.
Yeah, I think it's a very simple image. Your horizon is straight enough. You have a lovely leading line leading down to the beach, but you needed something else in there. Maybe a person down at the water's edge to give your eye a final place to rest. It runs down that path and then kind of bounces around a little bit because there's not a whole bunch to keep your eye focused once you get to the water's edge. Thank you.
Thank you. Catch it, goud for Leon.
Yeah, if only you didn't have this piece of wood or stick or branch creeping into your image. It would have been a fantastic image. As it is good, really good. Nice and sharp where it should be. The shutter speed was exactly the right moment. It's just the distraction of that branch taking our eye away from the action around the fish and the eye of this bird.
Legislator Alberta, silver for Nico.
Nico, the symmetry in the image is nice. You've got the two sets of fountains leading down to the building at the bottom. I think your challenge here is it's a very, very noisy image, and you could deal with that quite nicely. Also, if you look at the right-hand side on the thicker bushes, you'll see there's some halos coming through there. And I think that's from either trying to darken something or lighten something. And those can be dealt with. Thank you.
Thank you. Janique, goud for Carlos.
Lovely model, good light on her face. Those eyes are so expressive. The background is enhancing the beauty of the model. And I think that red scarf around her neck with the red lips is actually what this image needed.
Thank you. Purple heron on the wing. Goud for Jan.
Yeah. Caught nicely in flight, the wings in a downward position, fully extended, showing all the feathers, the textures in that, a very unobtrusive background. And you've got a little bit of reflection in the water right in front, lots of space for the bird to move in. Well done.
Thank you. Die leser, goud vir Nick.
Yeah, it's a very traditional style of photography, and I think you did well. There's good light overall in the image. All the elements in this image fits well together. Just maybe the light on the man's forehead is a little bright, but that's a little bit of nitpicking. This is a good image.
Okay. Zanzibar low tide, silver vir Gerard.
Yeah, the question when you're faced with one of these type of scenes is what to include and what to exclude. And I think that's the challenge. There's quite a lot of sky. I'm not sure if it's really adding any value to that. And I think maybe a smaller crop, yeah, sort of 3:2 aspect ratio, which will cover the boat, the reflection, and that first house almost directly behind the boat, with a little bit of those trees, might give you a stronger image. Thank you.
Thank you. Blom, goud vir Potty.
Having a bright, colorful flower against the dark background always works well. This flower shows enormous detail in the petals, in the colors, in the shades, in the highlights. The only quibble that I have is that I would have gotten rid of the bottom green leaf and just have the ones close to the rose. But otherwise, it's a really very successful flower image.
Thank you. Color of light is 'n goud vir Louis.
Nice abstract background going on here. Very vibrant colors. Your globe is picking that up very nicely. Some reds and blues on that filament. It's a nice idea. It's been well executed, and the dark background just helps those colors in the reflection stand out nicely. Thank you.
Thank you. Flying hair, goud vir Marie.
Yeah, captured at a very good moment. We can see the detail in the hair. The dark background works well. Just watch a bit. Your lighter face is a completely different color from the rest of her body, her chest and her arms. Now maybe if you either had some more light on the arms or less light on the face, it could improve the overall feel of this image.
Okay. In die wolke, Marite vir Wynand.
Yeah, two nice old planes. What I really like here is your shutter speed I don't think you get any better than that. Your two propellers have a complete blur to them. Either that or there aren't any and they're about to crash. But I think we'll go with the propellers. They're nice and sharp. The occupants in the two planes, I think these are tiger moths, clearly identifiable. I think your monochrome conversion has been well handled, a good range of tones from black right the way through to an almost pure white. Very nicely done.
Thank you. This face, Little Mia, goud vir Monique.
Yeah, the doggy is very happy to be your model, and I think you took a nice picture. The only quibble that I have is that stick in the background, taking our attention away. Maybe always make sure that your grass or your background is clean, or have an assistant ready to run and take stuff out of your image that doesn't need to be there.
Okay. Klein voeltjies, Wat gaan nou hier aan? Daar is hy. Klein voeltjies, 'n goud vir Sari.
Nicely done. You've got all the little mossies starting to fly. You've got their wings in different positions. Everything's off the ground. A little bit of an environmental attribute in terms of showing what the background is. The glint in the eye of the one that's just out in front. Yeah, very nicely handled. Thank you.
Okay. Lady in Gold, 'n goud vir Ingrid.
This is a very good portrait. The crop is perfect. The background is exactly what is needed. Even the jewelry around her neck complements the background, and the dramatic eye makeup. Everything works well. It's a well thought out image.
Okay. Waiting for the train, Marita vir Renate.
Yeah, I think this is an exceptionally well captured image. You've got the train going past. There's just enough motion blur to show movement in the train. And the fact that you've got it where there is that portrait of the two faces on the right-hand side, I think that might be on the other side of the platform. The sad thing, and there's no way around it, is that the person waiting for the train is not looking at you, but she wouldn't be either. But maybe at a slightly different angle just to get more of her face, I think would help. But as presented, it's a really good image. Thank you.
Thank you. Country Road, goud vir Diane.
Lovely scene, lovely mood created with the mist in the background and the wet leaves and the beautiful soft light on the scene. Your little pathway coming out of the corner, running right through, straight to the back, through the hills in the background. And your sky is a little bright, but it adds to the story of this image. It's a really peaceful, tranquil scene.
Okay. Esmerie, silwer vir Pieter.
Okay. I think the lighting that has been used is very skillfully applied. There's a little, or there's just a touch too little lighting into the background. One can see the back of her head and where her hair is. I think a little bit of lighting there would have better. And also the drop off down onto the bottom of the picture is probably not good. The image could also use or make use of a very thin border. I think the potential is here. It just needs a little bit of work. Thank you.
Okay. When light dreams in orange, Marita vir Lucia. Lucia.
Lovely use of colors and shapes and composition. The globe on a slight diagonal. The very dark background and the almost oversaturated colors makes for a very dramatic abstract.
Okay. Prinses Shiny, sorry, ek kan nie uitspreek nie, goud vir Andri.
Yeah, a simple, effective portrait, eyes nice and wide. Background is not obtrusive in any way. and it's darker, it makes the model stand out. If I'm going to quibble a little bit, and this is really, I think, probably a third of a stop less exposure on her face and on her clothing might just saturate the colors a little bit more, but as presented, on the money. Thank you.
Okay. Kleurvolle lig, Marite vir Leah.
Yeah, there's a beautiful story inside this globe. And it's almost a pity that we have the bottom of this image. I wonder if a crop wouldn't make for a very dramatic image, if we get rid of the source of your colors at the bottom. Was the reflection on top there against the dark background is really, really beautiful. But as presented, it's a nice enough effort to look at. There's lots and lots to see in this image.
Dankie Kitty, ek dink jy het vir ons nog 'n nuwe idee gegee daarso. In mid-air, goud vir Marike.
Yeah. Again, good monoconversion. Pilot is just visible in the front of the plane. The propeller not quite providing a full circle, but certainly there's enough spin to know that propeller is working over time. The smoke is quite soft and gentle. And those are the items that particularly the flying institutions will look at, and they will look at to see, is the smoke nice and flowing, are the props turning and showing a complete circle. Nicely done.
Thank you. Northern Lights, silver vir Deidre.
Yes, we should actually deduct at least 4 points for this author not taking us with. But we have a lovely little base with an island, I think, on the right. And then these beautiful soft colors going all over the sky. I always wonder about the stars. You know, if it was mine, if ever I get to go there, I would clone out some of these stars. They're just too many. I know they're in the sky, but it almost makes your image looks dirty. But lovely, lovely soft colors and a very good placement of that little island on the right side of your image.
Net gou iets hierso kyk. Hierso is iets nie lekker nie. Toch reg. Jammer daaroor. Wat kan ek nog kry? Goud vir Karen.
What makes the image is the dog licking its nose. Nice catch lights in the eyes showing the source of lighting coming through. The lighting is nice and soft. Again, this is one of those images potentially that could make a very interesting monochrome. It's almost all brown or a nice dark sepia type event. It's sharp. The exposure is well handled. Yeah, nicely done.
Palm Girl is 'n goud vir Irene.
Beautiful little model with beautiful soft light on her soft skin, lovely textures in the hat and the frills on the sleeves, and then your background being bright, maybe a little too bright on the top right hand side, but I think it fits in with the overall softness of her skin and the light on her face. A lovely pose also for this girl. I'm sure she's very chuffed with this image.
Thank you. Ek kry warm silwer vir myself.
Okay, your background is a little bit busy, Tino. You've got yellows and greens in there. Simplify that a little bit. You can probably get in a little bit closer. I'm not sure if that hat is actually adding to the overall image itself. The eyes are nice and sharp, but something's missing. Maybe a little bit of contrast, some oblique lighting just to redefine and reshape the face. Thank you.
Thank you. A challenge at the rodeo. So goud vir Trevor.
Yeah, I think you placed the horse and rider in a very good spot in the overall image. And all that dust flying, the feet not quite touching, shows movement and speed. And your background is blurred with the panning, but we can still see the detail of the event. Nothing blown out, nothing overexposed. So well done. It's a good image.
Witkeel swals. Silwer vir Leon.
Die foto's waar ek kom nou in. Nice action on the two birds. The one that's already on the little stick is not as sharp as it could have been. And there's a bit of motion blur in the wrong places. So on the one on the left, there is a bit of motion on the chest, and your exposure there has crushed the blacks at least on both those birds. And I think those are the challenges that you've got here. Thank you.
Like Louise, silver vir Nico.
Again, a very lovely scene that you captured here. Beautiful reflections in the water, nice clouds in the background, good crop. But it lacks a little bit of a center of interest. The red boat or canoe or whatever, being the only color, if I can call it that, in this image, but so small, doesn't quite work as a center of interest. These rocks in the foreground probably could, but they're hidden there in the corner. So just a tiny little bit more thought to the composition, maybe in a slight different spot, closer to the drama with the canoeists and the people in the water, or further away, having these rocks in the foreground as a point of interest. It's a good image, but it just needs that little something that we expect on this level.
Kitty, on that there, maybe a slightly lower angle and a polarizing filter. Just to look into the water and get closer to, and maybe show those rocks a little bit, just as a thought.
Yeah.
Thank you. Can M is a goud vir Carlos.
Yeah. Good example of a panning shot. The text on the vehicle is acceptably sharp. The wheels are showing really nice motion on that. And as a result of your panning technique, the background is nice and blurred. And I think that all adds to the magic of this image. Well done.
Thank you. Low tide, silver vir Gerard.
Yes, this image has a lot going for it. There's a lovely mood, lovely reflections, lovely textures. But then, unfortunately, we have that part of cloud where the sun bursts through, which is very overexposed. So if you decide to have clouds, maybe chop off that top third of the clouds and just have a, a, um, a whiff of those soft clouds, um, and it will already improve the image because it's so bright and so light. It takes our eye away from what is really the image itself, and that is the reflections and the textures and that little person walking on the wet sand.
Thank you. Morning coffee is 'n goud vir Nick.
Ah, and it's going down like a treat. Lovely exposure on this man's face. He's completely entranced in terms of, I'm assuming it's the coffee. The background, again, is nice and sharp, but it's not competing for attention with him. I think he himself, as an individual, is strong enough to carry the image and not be overpowered by the background. It's a really good, well constructed, well seen image. Well done, Nick.
Thank you. Gloeilamp, goud vir Johan.
I think this works very well, and the reason why is those two yellow, whatever it is inside the globe. The colors is softer and not as bright as the other specimens we've seen, and I think this is a little unusual, and the colors works very beautiful together. This is really a nice image.
Airborne grid, goud vir Jan.
Yeah. Again, nice monochrome conversion. I think a slower shutter speed would have helped the background blur more. But the way you've presented it, yeah, you've actually got the butt nice and sharp, you've got the rider nice and sharp. And the background, I think, to be honest, is what it is. It's not competing. It could be a little more abstracted, but as presented, it's nicely done.
Thank you. Border collie, goud vir Ingrid.
Beautiful, beautiful in monochrome, lovely textures in the whites, in the dark hair, just a little hint of light around the back of this dog, and the dark background, and the color of your frame is really well chosen. This is an excellent image.
Thank you. Running in a mist, Marita vir Renata.
Yeah. Very soft, subdued colors. You've got the herd of horses galloping through the veld. It's a beautiful misty morning, soft muted light. The horses themselves are nice and sharp. There's so much mood into this image. I think it's an extremely good capture. Well done.
Thank you. Musty Mono, goud vir Pieter.
Another very good portrait, beautiful light, excellent monochrome conversion. Don't think this image would have looked this good in color. Like the mood that you've created with light and shadows. Yeah, the pose is good. The story is nice. Excellent.
Thank you. tone and time. Marita vir Lucia.
Lovely portrait of this musician, I'm assuming taken at the Suburbs Congress. Lovely, pleasing smile on his face. He was just a fantastic model. The guitar tells us what he's all about, but doesn't dominate the image in the background. A little bit of light on the back, creating that natural halo around him, I think has been very well handled. Well done.
Thank you. Two of us, goud vir Henri.
Yeah, it's interesting that you decided to show the full dog in the reflection and just the head and paws of the real dog. But the real dog is a little bit more in focus, so therefore our attention goes straight to him. It's unusual. The light is good, the dark background works well, and the crop, I think, is also very good for this particular style of portrait.
Thank you. Green Door, se goud vir Lilia.
Yeah, this is one of those opportunities that most people will walk past and not pay any attention to it. There's lovely textures on the wall. That green door just pops out of that off-white background. It's complemented a little bit by the grass at the base. It's very central, but I think in this case it works very nicely. Thank you.
Yeah. Party in mid-air, goud vir Marika.
Yeah, this is interesting, and I think because of the placements of the aeroplanes and the colors that they are, there's a movement in the propellers which is good, and I like the composition going from our eye from the left bottom yellow one to the two of them, the yellow and blue one, and then to the red and back to the yellow. So yeah, composition wise it works nice and sharp, well exposed, nice soft background. Nice idea.
Yeah. Bones and Roses, goud vir Deidre.
Lelik maar lieflik. Yeah, it's nasty, this image. The black roses form a very interesting background. The skull itself with the teeth showing almost as laughing at us. Those dark sockets where the eyes should be. Everything about this image is ominous, and I think that was the intention of the author. I like this kind of stuff. Well done.
Yeah. Johan van Cassiesbaai, goud vir Irene.
Nice pose, nice crop, nice contact with your model. The light on the left side of this wall is maybe a little too bright. If you turn that down, especially towards the top, it will already pull our eye back to the man's face, which is well exposed and nice and sharp, and an interesting environmental portrait.
Wonder Cowgirl. Wat gaan nou hier aan? Kom ons hier niks sien. Daar is hy. Silver vir Trevor.
Ay. Oh, shame. Yeah, the emotion in this image is genuine. This young lady is is not a happy camper. The tears are real, but the image itself doesn't appear to be 100% sharp. You've got some movement in the hair. The eyes look like they're slightly out of focus, as does the body. And I think a slightly faster shutter speed would have sorted all those out and given you the image you wanted. Thank you.
Thank you. Zebra Group, Marita Verleon.
Yeah, this is a very good image, a lovely story that you're telling here. Zebras with a difference, well exposed, beautifully executed in post-processing. Yeah, this is just, the longer you look, the more you see. This, a lot of thought went into the making of this image, and I think you're very successful.
Okay. Unique, goud vir Diane.
Kitty, do they know about that image or not yet?
They should, some people should know about it already. I think you can tell them.
Yeah, just that was the PSSA silver medal for the CCJ salon that's gone in the nature category. So very well done to Leon on that zebra group.
This one, yeah.
Janique?
Yeah, this was the,
yeah,
this
that
was
one,
the
yeah.
medal winner.
Oh, baie geluk, Leon.
Yeah. And it was an easy winner as well. Very nice. Janique, right. Again, very similar to the previous one. Nice neutral background, the red lips and the red scarf working quite nicely. But I think here we have too shallow a depth of field. The eyes are not 100% sharp. They bother me in the sense that I know there's more in them, but I'm not seeing it because they're not 100% sharp. I can live with the fact that the ears are out, but the eyes in this case is a bit of a problem. And that would be the difference between getting golds and maybe getting something substantially better. Thank you.
Thank you. 1904 Mercedes, goud vir Nico.
I like the fact that you have a very dark background for this image. It makes the golds and the colors stand out beautifully. There's a hint of a reflection, which is also very interesting. It keeps our eye busy, and the light is beautiful. This is really, really good.
Thank you. Hip musician, goud vir Carlos.
Again, this musician is a very, very competent model. He's looking into space. The eyes are nice and sharp. There's a lovely catch light in it. And his clothing just offsets a very plain dark background, I think, very, very nicely. The focus is nice and tight, almost focusing on his eyes. And I think the angle that the photographer has captured this at does tell a nice story about this person. Thank you.
Thank you. Moonrise, silver vir Gerard.
Yeah, sometimes I presume this is a cell phone image, because my husband also takes these, and then he expects me to work a miracle with the image. there's a lovely mood in the image and a nice composition, just enough beach foreground with the water, the horizon on a nice spot, the moon in a nice spot, a little bit of clouds to add interest, but the noise is really very, very disturbing and distracting. So if you could do something about that in post-processing, it would already improve the image. But as presented, it's a little bit unnatural feeling.
Okay. Shepherd's, sorry, shepherd's gaze, goud vir nek.
Yeah. And Vic does have that nice sort of gaze that he almost looks through you. The hands nicely positioned on top of his walking cane. A very interesting hat. You've got light coming in from the right-hand side, almost a little bit of Rembrandt lighting under his right eye, our left eye as we look to it. And that blue jersey jacket that he's wearing is just enough color to offset everything, but not dominate. Nicely done.
Thank you. The last image of the open is Bella, goud vir Potty.
Yeah, shame poor Bella, whether she wanted to be a model or not, now she is one. I think you cropped it nicely. The background is there, but it's softer and not intrusive. It's maybe a little bit bright on the left-hand side. Yeah, and Bella's eyes are nice and sharp, and fortunate that her tongue is out. Makes for a nice pet image of this little doggy.
Okay, I'm going to switch over to nature, natuur. Okay, goud vir Marinda, Marshall eagle with prey.
It's a busy background. I think a plain or more simple background would have certainly helped the cause here. The prey itself, not entirely evident. There are bits of it visible, but the bird is nice and sharp. The eye is standing out very nicely. What I would suggest, maybe just darken the background a little bit, just to put more emphasis on the eagle. Thank you.
Thank you. Jong Velpie by Polenswa, silver vir Sari.
Composition-wise, the placement of the little lion works well, just off-center, looking towards the right, and then also you left more space towards the right. It is, however, a little bit overexposed and a little bit overbright. If you could just tone it down a little bit and work your levels and contrast a bit to bring the lion out a little more from the background, it would improve this image.
Thank you. Silent death in calm waters, goud vir Karen.
Yeah. One man's meat is another man's poison. Yeah, the capture with the crocodile with his mouth out the water, the impala becoming lunch, the tail, a little bit of motion in the water. This is one of those once in a million type of opportunities. You can sit for hours at the watering hole and not see anything remotely like this, and then all of a sudden everything happens. Nicely done. Good action shot.
Thank you. Silver for myself, low flying.
Yeah, the placement of the bird in the overall composition is good. The depth of field that you used is good. It shows us the background where this bird lives, but it's not competing with the bird. The only thing I think is if we could maybe see the face a little clearer and maybe a little sharper, it would improve the image. I know his little face is so small, but it is very small in the overall image.
I just wonder, I would like to ask at this point, in nature, did PSSA, did they change the rules a bit? Because in nature before, you couldn't submit images that in a rescue center or in a zoo. But I see nowadays they allow that. Is that right? Am I right or wrong?
Yes, no, you're quite right. We changed the rules.
So if you take birds in a rescue center, like for instance in Drakensberg, it's quite all right to use them.
It is now all right to use it. Even those, what do they call it? Those monitors on the legs and round the necks are now approved.
The tags and stuff. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Thank you. Take off a silver for Jan.
Yeah, again, interesting position. The bird is, you can see he's on tiptoes already, ready to launch himself off. I'm not sure that the eye is as sharp as it could have been. And that's really all that stands between this image not scoring as well as it could have and producing a really fantastic shot. Thank you.
Hanging from the nest, a silver for Estelle.
Yeah, unfortunately, these little birdies always makes their nests in the most unphotogenic areas that you could imagine. This image is very busy. We really have to squint almost to see the little bird hanging at the bottom of that nest. So it's very busy. It's slight bit overexposed on the bird itself, and the contrast is also very high in this overall image. Maybe you have to they return to their nests all the time while they're building, so maybe wait for a different time and see if you can't capture it in slightly less harsh light. But as presented here, it is a tiny little bit too busy.
Thank you. Ostrich babies, a silver for Louis.
Right, compositionally, one would ideally want a 1, a 3, or a 5. 2 kind of breaks the rules and then breaks it even further by having one of the birds look away. The back little ostrich is a little out of focus, but that's a depth of field issue. But if you look at the background, there's quite a lot going on there in terms of textures and almost some kind of effect that has been applied. I don't think the author has done anything. I think this is just an object of the actual lens that was used. And I found it quite distracting, that bright yellow line running from left to right the way across does compete with for my attention, and possibly even cropping it out or darkening it would improve the image a little bit. Thank you.
Thank you. All ears, a goud for Marie.
Now you decided to just focus on the little baby and cut off everything else. But very fortunate that you left at least almost all of the face of the elephant on the left in the background. The light on the baby is beautiful. You managed to capture all the textures in its little skin. And I think that trunk up with the mouth slightly open is part of the beauty of the story. Nice image.
Thank you. Tiptoe, Marita van Wynand.
Yeah. You wonder who is begreeping here. Yeah, the tiptoe is spot on the money. I'm guessing the bird is getting ready to take off. There's lots of texture in the feathers. The neck and head is pin sharp. A background beautiful and thrown out of sharp relief. Yeah, how would you improve it? I'm actually not sure that this is going to be one of those that can be improved. And as presented, I think it's a really good image. Thank you.
Thank you. Female sunbird on Aloe, goud van Marinda.
Beautiful placement of the bird in this image. Lovely background. The petals of this aloe is so sharp and so well exposed. Every little feather on this bird is nice and sharp. It's a really, really good bird image.
Thank you. Zebras, goud van Estelle.
I think in the higher levels, this is going to bite you. The zebra on the left is sadly out of focus. The zebra on the right is in sharp relief, but he's looking away from you. Change those two around in terms of position and focus, and I think this would be a really good image here. Nice, again, sort of Transvaal half-felt winter colors. Again, it would probably make for a decent black and white. But your challenge definitely is the zebra on the left being a little out of focus. Thank you.
Thank you. Ostrich, silver for Louis.
The square format works. The depth of field was good. Gives us a foreground, a middle ground, and a background. But unfortunately, the exposure on, or the light on the ostrich itself gives us now a lack of detail in the feathers, especially on the front part of it, the chest. And currently it is just basically a record shot of what an ostrich looks like and where it stays.
Thank you. Flying through flowers. So goud van Marie.
Yeah, nicely captured mid-air. Again, enough detail showing in the actual buck. The eyes nice and sharp, and the background is nicely out of focus, but with a little bit of detail of those purple flowers, giving an idea of the environment that this young buck is running and jumping around in. Thank you.
Checking you out. So Marita van Wynand.
This has such huge impact that ominous eye, those teeth just waiting to give a chow at you. And I think those little twigs and grasses or whatever it is around the snout is very, very good in the overall composition. It almost assisted in hiding from us. The monochrome conversion is perfect. At the 2-star level, this is well seen, well captured, and really good post-processing.
Thank you. That was the last of the nature and tier. Set subject we said is body parts, not nude stuff, arms, legs, eyes, ears, and so on. Those eyes, silver for Diane.
And yeah, the image is overbright, is a little too much exposure. And you could simplify this by just focusing on the one eye. Your eye sort of tends to bounce around between the two of them. And then you've got the nose and everything else going on. Getting closer, simplify, I think it'll be a much stronger image.
Okay. Hande in my nuwe lewe, silver vir Sari.
Very interesting, and I almost found it very confusing when I just looked at it, and then I saw what you were trying to show us, and this now is a matter of opinion. Some people are going to like it, and some people are not. It's 2 images in one, telling a story, and the colors are nice. It's slightly in a high key, but I think there's enough detail captured and good light and shadows for an interesting image. Maybe you just need to explore some more about what you include in the image and how much of it.
Okay. Red lips, silver for Marinda.
Yeah, the lips definitely nice and red. Again, this is more around a portrait. You haven't emphasized, I think, in terms of the theme, being body parts, the actual lips itself. I don't know if you ever remember the movie The Rocky Horror Picture Show, with the opening with the black background and there's 2 red lips. Always comes to mind when I see something like this and saying, that could have been interesting. Thank you.
Thank you. Shooting, goud vir Renata.
A nice dramatic image, showing us the empty shell. And if only it had the bullet too, can you imagine how dramatic that would have been? But you have the puff of smoke, a nice composition with a nice muted background, and nice almost rim lighting on the arm and hands of this person. The hair and textures in the skin is also beautifully captured.
Thank you. Oupa se hande, silver vir Pieter.
Yeah, there's a lifetime of storytelling in those 2 hands. Very simple, very plain background. The walking stick is there. Those hands have done many, many hours of work. Simple, effective, good lighting, fine focus, well done.
Thank you. Within the gaze, goud vir Lucia.
Yes, a very dramatic blue eye, nice and sharp, good reflection in the eye, and if I have to say something bad about this image, it is that the nose part, the left side of it, being out of focus and very bright is a little bit of a distraction. I would completely crop that off and just focus on the eye itself.
Okay. Hands, goud vir Andri.
I think more hands doing something. Again, simple, nicely positioned on the right-hand third. I'll say looking into space, but space for the brush to move into. I think by doing it in monochrome, you've desaturated and got rid of any color interests that might distract in here. Yeah, nicely done.
Okay. Vertrou mekaar, goud vir Lelia.
Another nice story that you're telling here, and the crop is good, the square format works well. It's only slightly overexposed and the light is a little bit too bright on the hands themselves, resulting in a little bit of a loss of detail in the skins.
Thank you. Hands on, silver vir Marika.
Looking at the top hand there, it almost appears that it's been deep etched or cut out. I find that quite distracting on that. The inclusion of the tie in the gaps there, I think, works reasonably well. But again, the hands are a little over bright, and that can be easily addressed in Lightroom or Photoshop. Thank you.
Thank you. Try me, silver vir Diedre.
This is a very unusual portrait with very unusual light used in it. And it's now difficult to decide which part, the eyes, the nose, the mouth, which was the body part that you wanted to show us. I like the dark effect of the hair and the light around it and then your tiny little border. It's a mysterious image and it works as a portrait, but I'm not too sure of it working as the set subject.
Okay. Brown eyes, a silver vir myself.
Yeah, I think the main emphasis here is on the door and not on the eyes. I like the fact that you've created that frame for the eyes, but I think that's kind of lost with the inclusion of the knocker, the shadow of the knocker and everything else. Simplify, maybe crop it down quite substantially and have a look and see what you think of that. Thank you.
Thank you, Mark. Vingers stomp gewerk, goud vir Leon.
Yes, again, Hans telling a really good story, and also good light and good textures captured in the hands. A good crop with just all the attention going into the hands and those nails. And a very powerful story that you're telling here.
Okay. 50th anniversary reflection, goud vir Nico.
Yeah. Nice triangles in this image. The big X that is created between the reflection and the actual image itself. The handling of the main hands, or the real hands, I think has been well handled, and the darkening of the reflection, I think, works well so that it doesn't compete. Thank you.
Thank you. Biker's hands, goud for Carlos.
Here again, a very good story, a very good crop, good exposure. It's just that dough in the center is a little bit bright and light. If you tone that down, you have a really good image.
Okay. Elegant hands, silver for Nick.
Yeah, the challenge here is the actual disjointedness of this particular image. You've got these two hands, they are in fairly awkward poses. Yeah, this person has the longest forearm I've seen, but that might just be what it is. Nice background, but again, also looks like it's been cut out and stuck in on this particular background. Thank you.
Thank you. Looking at you, goud for Trevor.
Yes, this is a clever idea. Concentrating just on the eye and the textures in the skin and everything else is a nice little catchlight in the eye. The only quibble that I have is that it is soft, that it is not quite in focus. But I think the overall effect is really beautiful.
Thank you. Rooster koekhande, goud for Potty.
Yeah, again, good storytelling. I think the dough is a little further along on the processing part. The flour that's evident on the hands just confirms that this is work in progress. The piece of dough right at the top, I'm not sure if you needed that. As it is presented, I think it has to stay in there. But maybe what you could have done was removed it and just focused on the hands and the pieces of dough that they were working with. But yeah, nicely done.
Thank you. Bene en visvang kous, silver for Estelle.
Now, this is a difficult portrait. It's a difficult pose. It's a difficult model. The light is difficult. The background is very bright and competing for attention with the model because it's red, even more so. The model is tiny in the image and it's almost just a record shot of this model in her dress in the scene. A little bit more thought needs to go into the making of this image.
Okay. What a leg, silver for Louis.
Again, this is a better example of that. It doesn't sort of suffer from the same challenges the previous image does, but there's a lot of it. My eye goes to the face, and from there onto a chest, and then only finally onto a leg. So possibly consider cropping that or darkening that. Darken the face and the chest, lighten that leg so that that becomes a very clear center of interest that your eye gets drawn to. Thank you.
Thank you. Die hande, goud vir Karen.
A nice story that you're telling here, a very interesting scene that you came upon. It's just a slight bit overexposed and bright. That's all. Just work your post-processing some more and this could be a very interesting image.
Okay. Bruin en blou, goud vir Marie.
Nice idea, particularly for a two-star worker. That processing on the blue eye, I think, has been done very, very well. It's interesting, it's impactful. There's a lot of depth to it. On the brown eye, less so. And that can do with a little bit of light, some texture in there. Give it the same kind of treatment as you did for the blue. Keep it brown, and I think you will have an interesting option. Alternatively as well, other than doing that, is to crop it in landscape so that you've got just the eyebrows and the eyes. That could also be very interesting and get rid of the unnecessary bits of the face.
Thank you. Window of focus, goud vir Jan.
Yeah, this is an eye with a difference, showing us all the skin tones, all the detail in the eye, all the little hairs and bristles and everything. Only quibble that I have is that it is a little bit overbright. If you can just tone that down a bit, it will already add some little bit of interest. But it has a very unusual look and feel to it.
Thank you. Hands of Time, goud vir Wynand.
Yeah, again, less is more. This has been nicely simplified. You've got old and new, and I think the textures and the storytelling in the old hands on the right-hand side really make this particular image. It could do with a little bit of light and coincidentally a little bit of contrast, but the underlying storytelling is really good. Well done.
Thank you. Last image of the evening, Owie stroking the donkey, goud vir Monique.
Now, this is an image about different textures. The textures in the, I suppose, hair on the bottom right, and then the fur or whatever it is in the animal, I suppose, in the background. The hand at the diagonal works well for the composition. It's just slightly out of focus and a little overbright.
Ja, baie dankie Kitty and Mark. Now for the big question, who are you gonna give us the winners?
Do you want a winner per category or just
Yes.
a winner?
A winner per category, please.
Okay.
Where
A
do you want
junior and a senior winner. Our
Yeah.
juniors are 1 to freestyle and our seniors are 4 and up.
Okay, Kitty.
Now you can announce them, Mark. Mark and I had a little discussion about which our winners are, and I think we're in consensus.
Do you want to
Sure,
start
okay.
with the open, or where do you want to start?
Open category, senior winner is definitely the Zebra Group.
Let me just find it.
Leon's image.
Zebra Group, number 58. That one there.
Yeah, definitely. And then
Baie geluk, Leon.
and then the crocodilicky checking you out. Kitty, that was the one, eh?
Yes.
Yeah. That's your junior winner there.
Let me just find it.
Isn't that two different
No.
categories?
That's in the next category. Sorry.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Sorry a lot.
that's fine.
Just hang on a sec.
No problem.
Kitty, answer your phone.
My phone is not with me.
Mark, give us the ever so long, and then Kitty can go and fetch her phone. Give us the nature and the theme.
Okay, let's go to nature.
And you're muted, Mark, by the way.
Hulle praat daarin.
Whoops, sorry. Okay, I'm muted. Whoops. Right. Okay, so the zebra group for the open, and where was it now? Yeah.
Junior Open.
Junior open. I'm just looking here through now. Running in the mist.
Yeah.
Very nice. And then for the nature,
But just hold on, Mark. I'm still looking for it.
okay.
Yeah, he's only going through 60 images. Running in the mist. Is that, those horses?
Yeah.
Renata, was that yours?
Mark, can you see
Yeah, it was. It was.
on the left-hand side, what is the sequence number, perhaps?
Stomp fast, I'll tell you now. Let me just look here on my. Whoops.
Found it.
I'll say.
Yeah, I'll say. Yeah.
Well done, Renata.
Yeah.
Baie geluk, Renate.
Thank
And
you.
then on the nature side, So senior one is silent death in calm waters.
I'll say baie geluk, Karen.
Well
And,
deserved.
and checking you out.
That one there, that's for Wynand.
Yeah. And then,
This is a good image for a 2-star worker, people.
yeah.
Oh. Okay, let me go to the set subject.
Okay. Set subject was that, where is it now? Rooster cook Honda. No, sorry. Opasa Honda. I'll get it right.
That's the
And
senior one.
that's the senior one. And the junior one is Hands of Time.
Daar's 'n geluk, Pieter. Hands of Time. Is that one there? This one, Wynand. Another one for Wynand. Baie
Thank you very
geluk,
much.
julle. Diane, wil jy aangeluk? I just want to, while Diane is busy, let me just save my work, please.
Sure. No, thank you very much. So Leon and Renato, Karen, Wynand, Peter and Wynand again. Yes, congratulations.